Hey, what is up, indie gamers? It's Stephen from indiegamers.co.uk, and this is Power Up, a really awesome game that is on Steam Greenlit at the moment. I always mess that sentence up. Yeah, it's a really awesome game by Psychotic Psoftware, and we're just going to have a quick game, and then I got an interview set up for you guys later on in this episode, what he has kindly recorded for us, and yeah, we'll just go and have a quick game on it. I've played it a little bit, it's really fun, hard as shit, but that's gaming for you. Mostly it was hard because I didn't know the controls, but still, that doesn't matter. I don't need to read this. I'm a man, I don't use instructions. I don't think there's instructions, but still, I'm a man. Escape the pod. Okay. Yeah. Woohoo! Bum, 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 bum. Last time I played this, I did not know what the shooting button was, and that kind of failed because you need to shoot a guy at the end. But I know now, as you guys can see. Woohoo! Oh shit, I missed it. Oh wait, no, I didn't. It's really awesome. I know further on in the game you upgrade your ship and make customizable choices. Oh shit! And die like I do, you know, that's always fun. No, but yeah, you get to upgrade stuff, and playing through the levels you get these upgradey things. Oh, that was close. There's a lot of different enemies as well. In this level, well, there's loads of this shrapnel, I guess you'd call it shrapnel, floating at you, and then you get ships as well. Big piece of shrapnel, cool. I don't know if you can actually blow this piece up. Oh well. Power up. Yeah, the soundtrack is really cool. It is on the Xbox marketplace at the moment, in the indie game section. What's pretty cool, and it's now being released on Steam. Hopefully, anyway. If you guys like the look of this game, go vote it up. I'll put a link in the description below. Leave me alone. And yeah, every vote counts. Oh shit! Motherfucker! I'm not the best at this game. Yeah, you can change your weapon. See, the weapons in this are actually pretty cool. Back shot in. I need some power-ups for this back shot though. Oh, that was close. I can destroy this, come on. Screw it. Oh yeah guys, also we've got a new member of the YouTube team. You might have seen some of her videos, Jasmine, I don't know if she's known as things. And she's really awesome, go check her videos out if you haven't already. The link will be in the description below as well. And yeah, we appreciate all the likes and the subscribes we've been getting lately, and please carry on, that would really help us. And obviously go check this game out. Yeah, let's just fly away. Oh, rockets! Oh! More weapons. My weapon, this weapon's upgraded loads. Pew, pew, pew. I don't have a certain amount of ammo, do I? Oh shit. Oh no. Oh, sweet, I killed it. I did not kill that one. I really like how they've done this game, and it is actually really nice. The controls are a bit weird on the keyboard, but I know, you get used to it and it works well. The Xbox ones are like, I don't know, pretty normal. It's a controller, you know. It doesn't really matter what the controls are, you can learn them really easily. Oh shit. Oh, just let me shoot. Oh no. This is the boss I was telling you about at the end of this level. Fly down. Probably could have got another couple of shots in there, but oh well. Pew, 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 pew. Just die. Oh, fail. I could have got a couple more shots again. That's the thing with this boss, just don't know when he's going to shoot. Well, you probably do, but I like to be safe. Shit, wrong button. Just die. And you got to look up for these balls. Oh, yay. That's what you get. Yeah. Meow, 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 meow. They're really all gone. I'm the last human alive. Oh, yeah. That's fun. Okay, it looks weird. I was playing on it, then realised you can't see it. Oh well. Well, that's the end of this level. Anyway, we're just going to jump into the interview now, guys, where you get to see Psychotic's beautiful face. I hope you appreciate that if you like it. If you watch this video, Psychotic. Anyway, yeah, enjoy the rest of the episode. Remember to leave a like and subscribe, and go check out all the links in the description below, and have a great day, guys. Bye.
Hiya, my name's Mike Hanson. I am the one-man games developer, also known as Psychotic Psoftware. The guys at the Indie Gamers podcast have asked me if I will answer a few questions for them and have a bit of a talk about my project that I'm working on. So, well, I'm working on a game called Power Up. It's a classic style, side-scrolling 2D space shooter that I started making as basically a way of teaching myself to code a game, specifically using XNA to make a game for Xbox 360. Now that was 2 years ago, and since then what was just a little programming exercise turned into a game, a full finished game, and it wasn't bad. So while I was making it, I started talking about it on Twitter. It turned out there were quite a few people that were into the idea of a well-made classic style space shooter, the likes of which I was making. It's set over 5 levels, all kind of different colour schemes and different kind of vibrant locations, and it puts you against enemies of an ever-increasing intelligence. Now it was very much influenced by the likes of Project X on the Amiga, Hellfire on the Mega Drive. They were kind of its 2 major influences. Project X for its visual style and its kind of rich audio work as well, and Hellfire for its really innovative weapon system, which I didn't really see used anywhere else, so I thought I'd have a go at using myself and kind of developing my own ideas with them. There were other games in there too. You can kind of see a lot of R-Type in the player's spaceship. You probably get a lot of the likes of Truxton from the light show of the lasers. And as I say, it's not the only genre I grew up into, but it was the genre I chose to make my first XNA game. And the reason was this: having tried to make a few little games in my time, I found the hardest things to get right are collision detection between, you know, the player and the baddies, and good solid controls. And the genre of game which really challenges you to get those things right is the space shooter. So that was why I chose that genre first for Power Up, and that was kind of the inspiration behind some of my game mechanic choices and audio visual choices on Power Up. Now, going into some of those mechanics in a bit more detail, because the guys have asked me what were my favourite features about the game, and my favourite feature within Power Up really was what some reviewers have described as something of an RPG element to the game, which basically means the player can pick and choose which weapons to use in any given situation, and which weapons to power up as they go through the game as well. So while I've balanced the game for a generally even powering up of all the weapons, the player doesn't have to stick to those rules and can power up any individual guns as they please. Of course, the adverse side effect of that is that other guns will be weaker in situations where the player might need those other guns. And this kind of inadvertently, while I was experimenting with it, became something of an RPG element. It gave the player a sort of a layer of freedom within what was otherwise quite a linear game experience. And that was probably my favourite thing about it. Obviously, that led me to add a lot of other things, such as speed-ups, and to design the game around needing those speed-ups to be able to avoid more intense bullet hells. And also, I added a screen-clearing blast weapon, which was pretty cool. And on top of that, I even threw in a shield which has a limited time duration. Now, while all of these things are fine in themselves, I find that the combination of all these little complicated little facets really makes for quite a rich gaming experience. I think that all came from the ability to swap between weapons. So I think the weapon swapping is my favourite feature of the game, but I love the way it grew into all these other features, and the game organically kind of designed itself on the back of that. As a developer, it's those little experiments that make it fun. fun, and yeah, it was those weapons, changing those weapons that really started that off for me. Now the guys want to know also about a little bit about the process of getting Power Up onto Xbox Live. It wasn't an easy process by any stretch of the imagination. It took me 3 attempts to get Power Up to Xbox Live. I hear that's about average. What you do basically is you pay a fee, it's about £65, and then you join a program for a year basically, which allows you to submit your games to other developers and to play other developers' games and pass them or fail them for release on the Xbox 360. That's the system for it, and it works very well, to be fair. Obviously some rubbish games get through based on the fact that they don't break, so there's no quality control in terms of is the game good. It's more a case of does the game work. So that's why people often say there's quite a flood of rubbish games on there, because that's not a priority really in marking those games, which is a bit of a shame, because I'd like to see Power Up sitting amongst consistently good quality games, which I think is more likely to happen via Steam. Now Steam is a different process again. Releasing on the Xbox was particularly useful for testing my game and making sure it worked. As a result, I was quite confident when I released it onto Steam Greenlight that the game was not going to break. It's currently in the Steam Greenlight process now. I did have to pay for that. You pay a one-time £100 fee, all of which goes to charity, which is cool. And you basically submit the game to yes and no votes. And if you get enough yes votes, it looks like it's somewhere in the region of 10,000 votes, which is quite a few. You get into the top 100, which means you're then considered for Steam. They will contact you at that point. So the best I can do at the moment is get those votes to get me into the top 100. Hopefully the guys will include a link if you want to check out Power Up and you want to see it on Steam, and if you want to vote for it, you'll be able to do that there. Yeah, so it's in the process of going through Steam at the moment, and it's doing alright. I can't knock it. It's got enough yes votes at the moment to get it to 34% at the time of recording. That changes daily, so hopefully I'll be doing better by the time you see this. Slowly but surely it's getting there. It could take a month or two, it could take longer for all I know, but it does need your vote. The best and hardest part of developing an indie game are probably kind of one and the same. They're always connected, but it's hard to say the best and the hardest because it changes as you go along, and as you look back on the process it changes as well. I can give you quite a few though. For example, when I was developing the game, when I was programming the game, when I was learning to program the game, the hardest parts were the bits I could not get to work, and I'd spend weeks, literally weeks, trying to figure out things like save data. Getting save data to work and not kill the game was such a pain on the Xbox, and then figuring out how to do it on the PC, because you can't use the same method. You've got to do it differently. You've got to learn it all over again, which again became the worst part of development. But at the same time, that, for example, became the best part of development, because after those weeks of keeping at it and pulling hair out, as you can see, and getting very stressed about it, what you get at the other end is the ability to save the game or to do the thing you were trying to do. And it applies to every process at first, you know, getting something to move around the screen or whatever. Saving the game was a nightmare though for me. That was a memorable one, that. But it also yielded the best reward, you know, at the end of it. It was worth it. It was worth the trouble. You look back and think, I'm so glad I persevered with that, because I've not only have I managed to do it, but I've learned to do it again for future stuff. You become more confident in your abilities as a developer. Quite rightly too. There's best and worst for all kinds of processes though. For example, the Kickstarter that I did back in February to raise money for the game shared similar pros and cons to the Xbox Live release process, which also shares similar pros and cons to the Steam release process. The major drawback in all of these processes for me is the battle against apathy, you know, getting people to see it and to recognise what you're trying to achieve and to, you know, get involved with it. That can be really disheartening sometimes. But then on the other side of it, you're hearing how much it means to people with a similar background. Maybe I grew up in the 90s essentially on what people class as retro games now, but I understand that genre of games, and I'm not the only one. There's a lot of people out there who not only understand that genre of games but want to tell me about it, and it's usually in those same forums where people are saying, no, I'm not interested. You'll get some people saying, wow, look at what you're doing. I've always wanted to play something that was just like what I grew up on, but looks a bit more like what's out there now. That kind of recognition from the people I'm aiming the project at really makes that process really worthwhile as well. So that's really cool. The hardest part for me in my little world that isn't directly related to Psychotic Psoftware and the game itself was losing my job as a games artist and not being able to get another one just because there were none out there. and struggling for money while I was doing this, which is obviously why I started the Kickstarter. Again, that really difficult part of the process, that hardship, led to a much better place when the game got kickstarted and all those people, came through for me and made a really high point. So what I'm finding was, for every low point in the process and for every difficulty you have, if you stick with it and you persevere, there's always a relative high point, and I love that. Anyway, I'm babbling on, so I'll get to the last question the guys asked, which is basically what my future goals are. Now, I do have a kind of a rough plan for this year, and then it kind of loosens out the further into the future it gets. My plan originally was to make Power Up for Xbox. Now, when I did the Kickstarter, people wanted the PC version, so I promised that. I had to plan for that. But I said November, and I got it kind of finished early December. What you're seeing on Steam now is a result of that. A PC version that I have out there, it's not out there yet. It needs to get through Steam. But while it's doing that, I'm currently working on the iOS version, which I also promised as a part of the Kickstarter, because I got more money than I needed. So I needed to put that money somewhere rather than waste it. So I decided to ask a friend to help me make an iOS version and an Android version and an Ouya version, which is kind of an Android version with a pad. Now that's where Power Up kind of ends, and because I've done it in XNA, I need help to get it to those other formats. So my future plans initially are to do that. While I get this version out on PC, I'll be doing the artwork and the sound for the iOS version, which I'm hoping sees the light of day late spring, and then the Android version I'm hoping by kind of the end of the summer, maybe early autumn, and then the Ouya not long after that. Now I'm probably going to draw a line under Power Up there for now, depending on what sort of demand there is on other devices, but it's about demand at that point. What I really want to do, once I've got the art and sound done for Power Up for the other devices, is start on my next game, and I'm probably going to look at a kind of a game engine that's a little more device agnostic, so I don't need help getting it to other devices, and I can have a better idea of the processors. So I'll probably try something like Unity for my next game. If you want to know more about my next game, you can see that by popping over to my site, www.psychotic Psoftware, both words all as one word and spelt with PS's, psychoticpsoftware.com, and there's a page just getting started on my next game. It's still kind of retro inspired, but it's very different to Power Up, and that's all I'll say about it for now. And finally, if you're on Twitter, I'm on there at Psysoft, PSYPSOFT, and I'm always talking on there, and I'll probably talk to you if you talk to me. Okay, I'll leave it there. Thanks for listening, and thanks to the guys at the Indie Gamer Podcast for letting me talk at you. Bye for now.